Hey everybody, happy Wednesday evening, a live tutorial stream. How's everybody doing? Wherever you are in the wilds of the internet today, I hope that the Christmas season is treating you decently. We definitely have, the Christmas has hit here at the Beading Dreams. It's been getting later and later every year. We have at this point reached almost the date where Amazon can still help you, but not as much as they could have if you tried a week ago. How do I know? Because there was a chance that I was going to have to order a Christmas tree. And almost every Christmas tree on Amazon arrives after Christmas. Luckily, my original tree came through and I did not have to brave the wilds of Lowe's or Home Depot to try and get a tree at this late date. But yeah, we had a good busy day today, which was awesome. So what I have for you tonight is a tutorial for those of you last minute present makers. These are 3 extremely simple, quick, and easy earrings. And they're all made with just 20 gauge wire. So even if you have run out of head pins, and you can even make ear wires from 20 gauge wire. So as long as you've got some 20 gauge wire in the house, you can make all of these earrings, wrap them, and have them under the tree, and still have time to have a nice glass of eggnog on Christmas morning. Let's talk tools and supplies for this evening's tutorial. You are going to need 20 gauge wire. Now, what kind of wire you use depends on A, what you have in the house, and B, how much you like the people you're giving these to. I'm going to use 20 gauge craft wire. On my samples, I used 20 gauge gold filled. The part that I'm going to make out of craft wire never actually touches your ear. So you can get away with using craft wire or even bronze wire for people who have sensitive ears, as long as you put a gold filled or sterling silver ear wire on it. That's a good trick. So I'm going to need 20 gauge wire. I am going to need beads, and I find it works best with 6mm beads, but if you wanted to make them daintier, you could use 4mm beads. And some of these styles, the first style I would stay with 6mm, but the second 2 styles you could also make with 8mm or even 10mm beads if you were so inclined. Of course, you're also going to need some ear wires, and like I said, change the scene. Thank you. Like I said, even if you're using craft wire, I will typically use a gold filled or sterling silver ear wire, just because you never know what kind of people or what kind of sensitivities people have in their ears. So I've got 6 ear wires in there. That one's kind of trying to escape. So my first one that I'm going to do is this one, and this is actually hi Lori, how's the weather in Alberta? Everyone here is losing their ever-loving minds because we're actually supposed to get down to 9 degrees overnight tomorrow night. So everyone is in a bit of a panic about that. And I'm just interested to see how much colder you are than we are. Okay, so this is the first one. This is actually a repeat. I did this tutorial quite a while ago, and I actually did it with rainbow colored beads for the chakras, but this I just used all the same bead. So once again, if you've got a strand of stray 6mm lying around, or even a half a strand or a quarter of a strand, like, you're good to go for all of these earrings. So it takes a grand total of 14 beads to make all 3 pairs. So I'm going to start with this one. And that's going to mean I'm going to take my 20 gauge wire, and I'm just going to have that in front of me so that I can do stuff. There we go. Alright, so I'm just going to take my 20, oh goodness gracious. Can somebody mod that 69XXX site?
Oh. What?
That's a bot trying to sell us dirty pictures of apparently their sister.
Oh my god.
I didn't know bots had sisters, but apparently they do.
Ooh, I can't. I wasn't on.
Okay, hold on.
Sorry.
That's alright. It's just gonna take me a minute. Well, no, that's good. I like that. I'm just not a very good mod. Oh, Lori, did you ban them? I think Lori might have banned them, because I don't see them in the Twitch chat anymore.
Excellent.
Oh no, that was on YouTube. That's why. I don't know how to ban people on YouTube. Crap.
Well,
okay, well, we'll figure that out later, since we don't actually have any viewers on that platform.
let me see what I can figure out.
Okay, so sorry, back to the thing.
To G-rated earrings.
Right, back to G-rated earrings. No, it was a cross-platform thing. I just didn't notice because we never get comments on that platform. So anyway, so I've got my 20 gauge wire, and I just cut myself like a 12 or 14 inch piece that I'm gonna work off of to make this earring. So I'm gonna start with my round nose pliers, and I'm gonna make a tiny little loop at the end of the wire, very, very small, like a little hook. And then I'm gonna take my chain nose pliers, and I'm gonna compress that hook down flat like so. And it's gonna wanna slip, so you just gonna have to finagle it so that I have that. Now, you can do this with head pins. If you have head pins, you just skip that part, because what I've done is I've just made myself a makeshift head pin. So this little curly bit substitutes for the head of the pin. But once again, if you have head pins, you can totally use them. And I'm going to go ahead and cut my strand of beads. Alright, so then I'm going to take one of my 6mm beads and I'm going to slide it onto my wire. Like so. Okay, and then I'm going to pick a measurement here, and I like 1/2 inch. I think that's a nice amount of spacing, so I'm going to go 1/2 inch from the top of my bead. So the key there is when you're measuring, you got to make sure that your bead is actually pressed up against the end of your wire. So I'm going to go 1/2 inch from my bead, and then I'm just going to bend the wire 90 degrees. You can do that over your fingernail, or you can do that with a chain nose pliers. Either of those is completely acceptable. And then I'm going to cut the wire I just bent, leaving just enough to make a loop. So that's going to be about 3/8 or so of an inch of wire. And then I'm going to take my round nose pliers, grab at the end of my wire, make sure there's no wire sticking out, and I'm just going to use my pliers to curl that wire into a loop. So I'm going to curl until my wrist says no, you're not going to curl anymore. And my loop at this point is not finished, it's not closed. So I'm just going to loosen my pliers, rotate them back, grab again, and then just rotate, thank you Heather, until your loop is closed. Don't go any further than that, because if you keep going, you're going to pull that off center. If it's a little wonky like mine is, you can use your chain nose pliers to adjust, make sure it's closed. And a lot of times you'll end up with a little wobble in your wire right there. Hi Tallyfet.
It's a Tallyfet.
It's a Tallyfet. A YouTube bot. Unfortunately, it's not on the platform for which you have a sword. But that's okay. Heather took care of it. Heather banninated the bot. Okay, so now we're going to do this again. So I'm at the end of my wire, and I'm going to rotate around to make my little J hook, and then I'm going to crimp that like so, so that once again I get that nice little bend at the end. Fold is the word I was looking for. I'm gonna sneeze. Bless you. Is there another one, or did that first one count? I think maybe that first one counted, even though it was only like a half sneeze. It wasn't even quite a Heather sneeze. Okay, so now I'm going to take my bead, and I'm going to thread my bead onto my wire, and then I'm going to take this wire and I'm going to thread it through the loop of the component that I already made. And I'm just going to let that component kind of hang out, fall down. You know, the good thing about this earring, and another reason it's a great last minute gift, is you don't have to think too hard about it, because it will just naturally do the zigzaggy shape thing. So now I'm going to once again measure 1/2 inch from the top of this bead. I'm just going to mark that with my thumbnail, and then I'm going to bend my wire at a nice crisp 90 degrees. Once again, if you can't do that with your fingernail, you can totally use your pliers. That's all good. And I'm going to trim that at about 3/8 of an inch. And then use your round nose pliers to roll up your loop. That one turned out nicer because I was actually looking at it instead of looking at the camera. So there we go. So now it's going to start doing that shape thing that we want it to do. And now that I look at this, obviously I did less than 1/2 inch. On these I probably did 1/2 inch from the bottom of the pin, but we're going to go with this. These are just going to be a little bit longer. So now we repeat and repeat and repeat until we have a pair of earrings. So make your J, compress it closed, and this is just a good trick anytime you need a head pin and you don't have one. This is what you can do to make a head pin. String on one bead, and then once again take the component that you're making, find the loop that's free. Okay, so this loop is already strung on something, but this loop is not. Just put your wire up through that loop, and then once again measure and bend, snip,
Uh-oh, my shoes are falling off.
and that's unfortunate.
Well,
Roll. I was wearing my gold flats last Saturday before, and they're a little big, and just the left one kept falling off.
that's really
Not the right one. The right one was fine, but the left one kept falling off when I was sitting down. Okay, so that's 3. The other cool thing about this earring is it starts to look cool at about 3 beads, so you can stop whenever you want to. All right, next. Like so, and then bead. And then it's not the end of the world if you forget to string your component on, but it gets a little bit more difficult if you make your loop and then have to hook it on. So once again, find the free loop and thread that on, measure, like so, and trim. And roll, and since this earring is longer than my sample, I think I'm gonna cap this one at 4 beads instead of 5, because I do have a fairly long earring at this point. I think that's a good yeah, I think that's a good size. Hi Corvus, what's up? Okay, so then this is my earring number 1. And I'll put the ear wires on both of them at the same time in just a minute. So I'm going to repeat for earring number 2. So while I'm doing earring number 2, I just wanted to remind everyone that it's a sale night. We are doing a live merchandise sale tonight, and it is a 25% off sale plus 50% off diamond merchandise. So I don't know if anybody wants to see diamond merchandise, so I'll go ahead and take a poll at the beginning of the sale. Also, we are going to be starting out with our Heather and Allison gift exchange contest. They each have bought gifts for the other, and we're going to do a blind opening one at a time, and you're going to rate who has the better reaction. Whichever gift gets the better reaction wins. And we should probably do some kind of wagering on that situation. So I'll figure that out. I mean, it's probably going to be a Team Heather or Team Allison thing, with probably a discount for future sales, since everything tonight on the sale is already on sale. So I've got my...
Oh no, they hate future sales.
I know, don't they? It just means they have to come back. But yeah, I've got a variety of different price points. I've got some cool disco strands for tonight in 8mm and 10mm. I have some random stuff that I don't know if it has been on stream before, and some stuff that I know hasn't because Heather told me. So it should be a fun stream tonight. This is going to be our last sale stream of the week. We are not doing a sale on Christmas Eve. We are not doing any streams on Christmas Eve. We are closing the store at 4 p.m. on Christmas Eve, and then we are, well, unfortunately I have to go drink champagne with my mother, so I don't get to go relax, but some people get to go relax. And then we'll be back the week of New Year's Eve with more tutorials, more sales, and a New Year's Eve Zoom from 6 to 8 Central Time. Okay, so there's component number 1. Now we're going to keep going with component number 2. Heather, that $15 note in there is for the window cleaners, and it needs a paid out.
Okay.
Make my hook.
What is the random $1.10 here?
I don't know. I gave Diane $1.10 for.
Oh, that is me. Yeah.
Okay. I'm
Sorry.
like, I gave her $1.10 for French fries.
Sorry. I left it over on the other side while I'm working on this.
Got it. It's Diane's French fry booty.
Booty.
Okay, so then I measure, mark. Okay, so I want to know, all you crafty people, are you crafting for Christmas? And how panicked are you right now on a scale of 1 to 10?
10.
I get a 10 from Diane. Yes, I will put them back up. So this is what's called a simple loop. So the key to making a good simple loop is, first of all, you have to get a good crisp 90-degree bend. Like I said, you can do that over your fingernail if your fingernails are sturdy enough, or you can do it with your pliers. I'll show you how to do it with your pliers on the next one. And then the key to a simple loop is you've got to match where you're grabbing it on your pliers to how much wire you have. Your goal is to, again, it is a 10 with 6 exclamation points.
Oh boy.
Wow.
I feel him.
Yes. So if you put your pliers on a spot that's too small, you're going to wind up with this little loop at the end of this straight piece of wire, which is not what you want. If you make your pliers too big, your loop won't close. So that's the tricky thing about simple loops, is that's really not something that you just got to figure it out. But one of the things that, I'm sorry, Corvus, I totally took that off camera because that was an awkward AF angle. I'll show that again for you in a minute. I was talking and I completely lost track of the fact that I was also demonstrating. But yeah, so one thing you can do to help you with your simple loops is you can make a mark on your pliers and figure out what length of wire that mark makes a perfect loop with, and then you have, you've got kind of a way to tell, where you should be on your pliers. Okay, so again, make my J. Close it. This. And once again, find the free loop, which is here. And then measure. Okay, I'm going to keep this on camera this time, Corvus. Sorry. Okay, so if I want to make my bend there, and I'm going to do it with my pliers instead of my nails, I'm going to grab, and I'm just going to brace against my finger and bend with my pliers. And that's going to give me that nice, crisp 90 degrees that I need. Then I'm going to snip. See, I'm actually somewhat lucky. Okay, so grab with your pliers, and then you're going to roll, and then come back, and then roll again. And so your key here is to not roll too far. Okay, so what needs to happen here is I need to roll a little bit further, but then my loop's a little misshapen. I don't want to do any more rolling with my round nose because my loop is centered and that's where I want it to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my chain nose to bring that end like so up and in. But yeah, I'm actually, I guess, lucky in some ways that no one in my family wants my jewelry for Christmas. My mother doesn't like the jewelry that I make. My stepmother makes jewelry, so I gave her jewelry for a while for Christmas, but it kind of seemed redundant. My dad only wears jewelry that my stepmother makes, unless it's Renaissance Festival stuff. Then he'll wear my stuff. My boyfriend doesn't wear jewelry. And my 2 aunts and I don't exchange gifts anymore because it was just getting too stressful for all of us. So yeah, nobody in my family wants jewelry for Christmas. Not one single person. My friend Scott and Maggie's daughter, Fiona, she loves my jewelry. She is 6, I think. I think she turned 6 this year. So I'm actually going to knot her a proper knotted pearl necklace with a 14 karat gold clasp so she can have her first piece of, or I don't know if it's her first piece, but so she can have a piece of real grown-up jewelry, which I think should be fun.
Auntie.
Well, I would be a better auntie if I had gotten it to her by Christmas, but it's going to be a New Year's present. So again, squeeze.
I never got Ellie her birthday present, so, you know, you're still better than I am.
So maybe, Corvus, like, you could make art for my family and I could make jewelry for your family? Because, I think my family would like your art. My stepmother did buy one of my dragons for my dad for Christmas, which I thought was sweet.
Hopefully Dad is not on right now.
He's not usually on for the tutorials. He usually only comes on for the sales. Plus, I doubt he'll be on at all because my dad is a courier for FedEx, and so they were pretty much planning on, you know, working him from like 10 a.m. until 8 p.m. or later all week. So I think he might be not on stream at all tonight because he might be too tired. Because it started Monday, so this is his 3rd day of that. Did you just wrap my present in my own paper?
I did. This is going to be thrown away. I brought cloth in which to wrap it, but sorry, it made a dust.
I'm getting dusted upon by my present.
But I didn't want to give you pretty fabric and then take it back. That seemed rude.
That's fair.
You.
Totally fair. I would have expected to keep the pretty fabric, so you made a good call. Alright, so I've got my pin made, and then I'm going to drop this on there, and then I'm going to do my last one. So I'm going to measure. I'm going to go back to bending over my fingernail because I'm lazy like that. But see, I know people whose families aren't like that, Corvus, though. Some of them are like, give me more. Like Heather's family. Heather's mom cannot stay away from her jewelry.
No, she
roll, come
keeps
back,
buying it and then offering
roll.
to give it back to me for sales.
All right, so there we go.
That's weird.
So that is that earring, and putting on the ear wires is very, very simple.
Oh no, you need turquoise. Oops.
I mean, Heather could fling it at you when she's driving down on Friday night.
I can if you want to stand on the side of the road.
If you want to meet her on I-45 at a rest area, she can bring you turquoise.
Yep.
Except I don't know that we have any. We've got focoes.
Yeah.
But we sold most of the turquoise when we had the turquoise blowout sale. Okay, so again, I'm talking too much and demonstrating too little. So to put on your ear wire, you're just going to grab it with your pliers, open it up, and drop your piece on, and then make sure you close it completely. Okay, so this is probably the most complicated of all of the earrings that we're doing tonight. Okay, so this is maybe a December 23rd or early on December 24th earring. I'm going to say once it gets past 9 p.m. on December 24th, one of these other 2 earring styles would be a better choice. And the first one we're going to do of the ultra easy ones is this cute little trefoil design. This is one of my favorite little wire head pins to make because it looks so fancy and it's really so incredibly simple. So I still have enough wire here off of my 14-inch piece to make one of those, so it took me a grand total of about 10 inches of wire to make those earrings. I think if you shortened them up and did 5 instead of 4, then you'd probably still use about the same amount of wire. So yes, the trefoil is super easy. So you're going to start at the end of your wire with your round nose pliers. And this time we're bending a larger loop. And you can even make these a little more interesting by making the middle loop bigger than the side loops, and which I kind of have a tendency to do. So I'm going to take my pliers and I'm just going to bend around. So again, forward, come back, and forward till it closes. This one's not going to be centered. Okay, you want it to be closed, but it doesn't have to be centered. Then you're going to take your pliers and you're going to put them in the corner. Okay, so what you've made here is there's a little corner right here between your loop and your wire. You're going to put your pliers in the corner, and you're just going to wrap the wire around your pliers until it lines up like so and makes kind of a teardrop. And then once again, you're going to put your pliers in the corner. Okay. Tell you what I want for Christmas is a new freaking webcam. I know, I need to go and investigate all of those links that you guys kindly sent me. Okay, so now we're going to go around again and up the middle. And that is it. Just adjust it so that it's centered. Try not to mess up your little trefoil when you do that. If you want to do this actually properly, you're just going to take your chain nose and you're just going to bend it up a little bit. And so that is basically a fancy head pin. So now I can put whatever the heck I want to on this fancy head pin. And that's the front, that's the back where you can see the wires. But yeah, grab your bead. Come on, drop on there. Okay, so now I've got my bead, and I'm gonna finish it with, guess what, people? A basic wire wrapped loop. Now, if you don't already know how to do a basic wire wrap loop, don't try and teach yourself at 9 p.m. on Christmas Eve. That's just not a good plan.
Although if you do, you should at least try Allison's method.
But if you already know how to make a basic wire wrap loop, this is going to be a piece of cake. Remember, it's away, rotate, back up over the top, rotate underneath, like so, and then I'm just going to go ahead and hold across my loop and wrap. Well, Tallyfight, you're just going to have to do something else at 9 p.m. on the 24th for your last minute gifties. Or you can just play this tutorial over and over and over and over and over, and everyone will just think you've gone mad, which at that point in the season you very well might have. Okay, so I hear the frustration from Corvus. Okay, Dan loops are a pain for a long time. Diane, how long have you been wire wrapping?
I don't know, 10, 15 years?
Yeah, so Diane's been wire wrapping at least 10 years, and she's still not always 100% comfortable with it.
I have to get help a lot.
Right, stringing them dang necklaces, F being technical. Tallyfat has it figured out, y'all. But the only reason that Heather and I are so good at wire wrapping is because we do it all day, every day, and have for the past at least, 12 to 22 years. So that's a whole lot of concentrated practice. Whereas if you're just doing it on the weekends, if you're just making a pair of earrings here, a pair of earrings there, it's like it's spreading that learning experience out way further. It's like, Corvus and Silvern's resin work is so much cooler than mine because they've been doing it for like ever, and I've been doing it, I'm not even going to say seriously, but semi-seriously for like 2 months now. It just takes time, and it's really, I know it's really irritating when you're really good at one thing to then not be as good as you want to at another thing right away, but I promise this is normal. Okay, but see, it's 1 pretty to 2 ugly. That's actually not a bad ratio, Corvus.
It really is.
Frankly, like that's actually pretty good. Okay, so we're gonna make our second little trefoil. So I'm gonna grab with my pliers and I'm gonna roll a loop. Make sure that loop is closed. Now put your pliers in the corner, wrap it around. So what, sorry, hand in the way. So what, I swear I need to move my camera to my left side because it would be just so much less awkward to be doing everything that way. So maybe I should try that before I invest in a new camera, because moving the camera position costs me $0. Okay, but so when you wrap it around, if you get to the point where you're gonna bump into this, just rotate your pliers a little bit because you don't want to go over this second jaw. Now once again, go ahead and place your your pliers in the corner, wrap it around like so. All right, and there's your head pin. Does it look exactly like my other one? It sure doesn't. So this is the other thing when you're doing stuff like that. So if I were making these, and if I were making like 10 of these, if I were making 5 pairs of earrings, what I would actually do is I would make all of the pins first, and then I would match them up in pairs as to which ones go with which. It's so much less stressful to do it that way rather than trying to make a pair, because as you see, I totally failed at that. And then our basic wire wrap loops. So pliers, round nose pliers are grabbing so they're touching the bead, and you can put as many beads as you want to on these. So away, rotate, back up over the top, starting to make my loop, rotate, underneath, like so, and then grab across your loop and wrap down. Ta-da! And then trim. And there you go. Now your wires go on exactly the same as before. Just open them, drop your piece on, make sure you're paying attention to, you know, what's the front, because this view is prettier than this view. And then we're just going to close that up. Make sure it's closed all the way. Open and drop, and there we go. So that is extra easy earring pair number 2. And if you wanted to be fancy, you could also hang beads from these 3 loops. So this also can be kind of an impromptu chandelier component for a small chandelier earring as well, if you were so inclined. Now, this is the earring you do on Christmas. This last one is the earring you do on Christmas morning when you just realize that you have an extra guest coming to the dinner party that you're hosting in 30 minutes. And you're trying to make a pro forma gift just so you can have something under the tree for this one unexpected person. So that's this.
Bring in their college girlfriend.
Right.
Didn't know that.
So that's this one. Also, I will say, because we tend to think of jewelry as gifts only for women. One of my exes who went before he was with me. Before he was with me, he was with actually a coworker of mine at the bead store. So she made jewelry too. And what he did one year was he ordered jewelry gifts for all of his coworkers, female and male, figuring that most of his male coworkers who were in a relationship would at some point need a get out of jail free gift. So he had Sandy make jewelry for everybody, and apparently it was a great success. So I'm just putting that out there. Okay, so this is it. This is the holy crap, I have less than 5 minutes to make these earrings earring present. So I'm going to start with that basic. And again, you can do this with a head pin as well if you have one handy. Then it's even faster. So you're going to roll and compress it like so. You want to make sure that this wire is nice and straight. If you're using craft wire, that tends to be a problem because craft wire gets kind of wiggity more easily than gold-filled wire. Cool, see? So he's not the only one. Okay, so now you can make this as long as you want. The only key is you want to make the second one the same length, and the easiest way to do that is to just pick a random length, and we're going to bend a 90-degree angle, because this is going to be this is going to be a simple loop, so we're going to trim that up at 3/8 of an inch, and then we're going to do the other one. It's easier, I find, to match the lengths on them if they're not looped already. So we're going to roll, I'm going to compress, I'm going to make sure our wire is straight, and I'm just going to do that by holding that loop and just pulling my fingers along the wire, and I'm actually pulling, like I'm exerting force in that direction to pull my wire out. I'm going to drop on a bead, like so, and then I'm just going to match these up like so, grab, bend, and when you're bending with your pliers, make sure you press against your finger so that you get a nice 90-degree angle and not a weird kind of curvy thing. Trim that up. And I like to do this style with a simple loop rather than a wire wrap loop, A, because it's faster, B, because I think it looks cleaner without the wire wrap at the top of this particular one, since there's really no bead there, so it would just kind of be hanging out there. And then once again, if you need to straighten that out, if you need to straighten that out, and if you need to close that up, there you go. And then we're going to do the other one. Hi, Silvern. How do you stop from scratching the wire? Well, having good wire, it's less likely to stretch. Having a good pair of pliers, because sometimes cheap pliers are unnecessarily rough at the edges, and then only manipulating the wire as much as you need to, which is once again something that kind of comes with time. If you're finding you're scratching your wire a lot, you can put medical tape on the insides of your pliers, but once you get good enough, you won't need it. Alright, so there we go. Those two earrings, all they need are ear wires. Silvern, how are you? Are you crafting for the holiday? And if so, on a scale of 1 to 10, how panicked are you? These earrings don't have a front, so you don't even have to think about that. And make sure you close it up. And there we go. That is your less than 5-minute pair of panic earrings. So that's it. We did it. I mean, literally, I made 3 pairs of earrings whilst talking and teaching in approximately 40 minutes. Which means that if you're not talking and teaching while you're doing it, it should take even less time. So these are great last minute holiday gifts. They're also great stash busters. Especially this one, you don't have to use all the same beads. So if you just have pairs of things lying around, that's really fun. And obviously each of these other 2 only take 2 beads each, unless you wanted to drop something from this one. Ha! Only level 7 panic. From what we've heard so far, that's actually, that's pretty calm compared to some other people. So thanks so much for hanging out with us on the Beading Dreams live tutorial stream for Easy Earring Trio. This is one of them. This is second one. And, of course, the third one. That's fair. It is still in the general Christmas lexicon. It is still actually fairly early. For those of us who are last minute people. So that's going to be it for the live tutorial this evening. I'm going to be back tomorrow at noon with a fun project. If you do have people who don't wear jewelry, but if you have anybody on your gift list who is a sewist or a quilter, we're going to be doing this. Oh, what? I uploaded the wrong photo. I failed.
Here. The live sample.
I will show you the live sample since I uploaded the wrong photo like a dodo. Thank you.
I'm assuming that's the one you wanted, right?
Yes. So we're going to be doing decorative scissor fob, which is a really fun and, again, super, super easy and simple project. The one thing that makes this not always the ideal last minute gift is you do need some kind of a hinged bail, but I feel like that's something that some of you might have in your stash. Also, the only reason you need the hinged bail is if you want to make it removable from the scissors. If you just wanted to wrap it directly onto the scissors, then you don't need that hinged bail. But if you do have the hinged bail, you could actually give it to them theoretically without a pair of scissors, and they could put it onto a pair of scissors that they already had. So that's the noon tutorial, and I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing at 6 p.m., but it's going to be something involving a torch. It might be basic bezel setting, or like I said, I don't even know. But I'll be back with something torchy at 6 p.m. tomorrow. So you can catch me next, however, on this channel, twitch.tv/beadingdream in 30 minutes at 7:30 with a live merchandise sale. We are doing 20% off all of our merchandise on tonight's sale, and we do have 50% off diamond merchandise if anyone wants to see diamonds. Also, we're going to be starting out with the Heather and Allison gift exchange contest. I will codify the rules for that contest in between streams, and that's going to start right at the beginning after I do, you know, my little talky bit. So everyone, thanks for hanging out on the tutorial. If you're going to hang out on the stream, don't forget to grab yourself an indulgence. Maybe some food. Water's always a good idea. Get comfy, get cozy, and get ready for some fun Beading Dreams retail therapy in the comfort of your living room, office, or wherever you watch the Beading Dreams stream. So that's it for now, but we will see you in 30. Thanks, everyone. Bye.